It's pouring rain out this morning, but the show goes on. I have my top 1% champions mastermind later this morning, so I have to get in my 15,000 steps. I take it very seriously that if I want something done, it has to be done in the morning. So I got to get in these steps. Liquid sunshine is not going to stop me, and I'm going to have the world to myself out here because most people are not going to be out here because of the rain. But I got to get in these steps before that 2-hour mastermind. I've got to get my thinking in. I've got to get my solitude. I've got to listen to my intuition, and I got to get moving for my mental and emotional state. So I'm at my best for those guys, my top 1% champion masterminds. When I arrived here 3 weeks ago, I got my wife Krista to make an appointment at an upscale men's barbershop. And she made the appointment online. I don't do any of that stuff online. I've never made an appointment online. I've never paid a bill online. I choose not to participate in any of that. I'm a phone guy. I'm a check guy. I'm a cash guy. I don't go down rabbit holes. I talk to people. I push myself out into the open. I don't use drive-throughs. Anything that's easy, I banish because I want to make things difficult and hard sometimes. I don't want to become enabled and entitled and soft. So I refuse a lot of the things that ordinary men would say, oh, well, that's very convenient. I see that as the life of the coward, the life of the slave mind. I want to stay hard. I want grit in my life. I want toughness in my life. I want to pursue hard things, and I want to do hard things. Shortcuts and hacks and magic buttons scare the shit out of me. I don't want anything to do with easy. So Krista makes this online appointment for me to get a haircut and one of those hot towel shaves. I mean, I owned a barbershop for 6 years. So it's going to be a $150 visit. It's going to be $50 for the haircut, and it's going to be $100 for the shave. I love those things. I do them maybe once or twice a year. It's a real treat for myself. So an opportunity to relax for 45 minutes. So, and I'm always interested in other barbershops, especially the upscale ones. So she makes this appointment online, and life happens, right? And something comes up at Emery's new school, and I need to be there. That's my priority. So I said to Krista, I said, okay, we're gonna have to reschedule that barber appointment, shave appointment. So she calls them back, and of course during work hours there's no answer. There's no answer. It's between 9 and 5. There's no answer. So she sends a text message or something back to them. I forget what it was. Oh, she had their email. And she sends an email back. We have to reschedule, all this kind of stuff. So they, to their credit, they emailed her back the next day, and no phone call, just an email from one of those robot autoresponder kind of things. And it says, well, yeah, that's no problem. We've canceled the appointment. Please go online and reschedule when you're ready. So again, life is busy. I'm busy reading, writing, walking, coaching my kid. So a few days pass and I drop Emery off at school, And here's this barber shop right beside the school on a Friday. So after I drop Emery off in the morning, I'm like, to hell with it, I just need a haircut. So I stop at this little barber shop in the mall, one of these old school barber shops, and I get a haircut in like 25 minutes. Good haircut, good conversation, I'm happy, I'm done. So in both of these scenarios, okay, nobody made any effort whatsoever to get my name, even my name, my cell phone number, my email, my cell for texting software, or my physical address or my birthday. Zero. Both barbershops didn't make any attempt to capture any of my information. Now, the first online one had my cell phone because I don't know if they had my cell phone, but no effort whatsoever. Actually, the second one, I sat there and got my hair cut for 25 minutes, and the guy knew my first name for a while, and that's it. It was a $20 haircut. I tipped the guy $20, so $40 haircut, and I walk out and the guy doesn't know if he'll ever see me again. He doesn't have any way to ever follow up with me or continue to build a relationship. And I just walked in his barber shop and paid $20 and tipped him 20. So this, most business people for this reason deserve to starve. Like, as I shoot this video, Google has announced that they're laying off thousands of people. All the big tech sweethearts now are laying off thousands and thousands and thousands of people. The Meta and all of them, just all the way down the list, they're just laying off people by the thousands. And same thing happening at Amazon, same thing happening at Microsoft. The tech baby Google, 10,000 people laid off at Google as of a couple of days ago. So, I mean, it's the thinning of the herd. Winter is here. This is not new, and it's not earth ending or sky falling. It's just winter is here. We have been through spring, summer, and now we have to head into winter. Not only is it happening over the next 36 months, in my opinion, but necessary. We need a thinning of the herd. We need for these times to stop. We need for things to get hard, and things are. The easy days in business are now coming to an abrupt end. Times are still good right now, but my prediction, over the next 36 months, we're going to experience an economic winter. And it's normal and it's needed, a thinning of the herd. So my experience with these two businesses, and I could go on with dozens of businesses we deal with here in Naples as an example. Like every Sunday night, Krista and I have our date night. And Krista books a reservation at an upscale restaurant. And we go to these upscale restaurants, and the tabs are anywhere from $150 up to $400 with no drinking, with no alcohol. So, that's pretty consistent income. And it doesn't matter how upscale the restaurant is. It doesn't matter where it's located. It doesn't matter anything. They never ever make any effort to capture any of our information. They might have our cell phone, but they're not going to use that. They never make any effort to get our mailing address so that they could send us, they could mail us, return offers or, reignition offers where a person hasn't come to the restaurant in a while, referral programs, monthly newsletter, anniversaries and birthdays. Restaurants, no capture of our anniversaries and birthdays. That's an automatic. If I'm in the restaurant business, I'm in the birthday business. If I'm in the restaurant business, I'm in the anniversary business. I would pack my restaurant for 365 days by capturing everybody's anniversary and everybody's birthday. Nobody celebrates their anniversary alone. Nobody celebrates their birthday alone. You give reasons for people to celebrate their birthday or their anniversary at your restaurant. That's continuity right there. That's as predictable as the sun rising and the sun setting. So we're heading into economic winter, and a lot of 99% of ordinary, average, and mediocre businessmen are starting to panic, right? Is scared. Head home, hide under the bed with 3 masks on, and play not to lose, right? They get up every day, they check their phone, they get immersed in the toxic swamps of anti-social media and politics and the main, the bought and paid for fake news, as if that stuff is going to help you through anything, as if any of that's going to help you and your business. Instead, my guys, top 1%ers, they get up every morning and they run their playbook. They run their playbook. They get up, no technology, put on their shoes, splash some water on their face, brush their teeth, say a prayer of gratitude, and then they get to work on the 2 or 3 things that are most important. My guys own the first hour of their day. No matter what, they own the first hour. They get up early, they own the first hour. They get in the 10,000 steps. They get in Operation Money Suck, their marketing, their advertising, their copywriting, and they read physical books and newsletters. They're always sharpening the saw, always sharpening the saw. Your brain is a muscle. You need to sharpen the saw. You know, sharpening the axe. It's doing push-ups for your brain. It's push-ups for your brain. It's pull-ups for your brain. And every day, those are the 2 or 3 things they do that make all the difference. That's called playing offense. That's called playing to win. That's called playing going all in as an elite man, elite husband, father, businessman, community leader. That's called kicking ass and taking names. And in the winter, the worst thing, the absolute worst thing a businessman can do is play defense, playing not to lose, getting up and not protecting your mind from the toxicity, from the tomato cans, from the negativity, and just surrendering to that fear mongering, because it's on purpose, right? You watch the news, you're always going to be in fight or flight. You follow politics, you're always going to be in fight or flight mode. You know, you immerse yourself and hide in watching professional sports, or alcohol, or gambling, or porn, or just a number. So, you know, there's no worse addiction than iPhone screen addiction. You know, like they're so addicted to their cell phones that they can't, you know, they're on there for 18 hours a day, and they're just destroying, absolutely slaughtering their prefrontal cortex, the front part of their brain. They can't think, they can't focus, they're depressed, they're anxious, they're suffering from what I call manufactured mental illness. That's not depression or anxiety or stress or worry from reality or a chemical imbalance. It's because you've destroyed your fucking brain. For the last 25 years, you've been on a screen relentlessly. It's like an umbilical cord. You can't focus, you can't think, plus all the toxicity is being pumped into your system day after day, day after day. Be afraid, have a scarcity mentality. The world is ending. The United States is the worst place in the world. Canada is the worst place in the world. You need to follow your leader. You need to, you know, this and that, and just on and on, toxicity. You need to just cut the rope with all of that stuff, especially now that we're heading into an economic winter. You need to become bulletproof and 10 foot tall. You need to pick the books you read. You need to pick the inputs. You need to pick the inputs for your children and teenagers and adult children. You know, it's so critical. But that story is a perfect example of the sloth and the absolute laziness that has gone on for the last, are you kidding me? My dad says 50 years. We have had, with a couple of bleeps in between, we have had a run of 50 plus years of massive prosperity and abundance. Like he said, the tide has been rising for 50 years, with the exception of a couple of corrections. Are you kidding me? Anybody could do well in the last 50 years of business. Anybody can do well when the tide is in. But like the great Warren Buffett says, now when the tide is starting to go out, we're gonna see who's naked. We're gonna see who's not so great. And you're gonna see a lot of so-called wizards and so-called geniuses and so-called incredible juggernaut companies. Good morning. You're gonna see that when the tide goes out, all of a sudden, they're naked. Google laying off 10,000 people, Meta bleeding money, Microsoft just going down the list of layoffs. So interesting times indeed, but you can't be concerned with any of that stuff. You have to focus on what you do every single day. What are your inputs? And in your business, if you're not collecting, if you're not capturing the personal information and data of every single human being, every prospect, every client that contacts your business, whether they phone you today, whether they visit your website, whether they text you, whether they walk in the door, then you deserve to starve. You know, when I was in the barbershop business, I was in the relationship business. When I was in the hockey business, I was in the relationship business. When I was in the insurance business, I was in the relationship business. Now that I'm in the coaching and consulting business, I'm in the relationship business. I'm friends with my book buyers. I'm friends with my mastermind members. I'm friends with my newsletter subscribers. I'm in the relationship business. And you can't be in the relationship business if you don't have a person's information, their name, their facts, yes, their facts, their email, their cell phone, and most importantly to me, their physical mailing address. If you're in my life, if you're a prospect and a customer in any business I'm in, you're getting a physical newsletter from me every single month. I used to mail 9,000 physical newsletters every single month when I owned McLean Insurance. I used to mail a monthly physical newsletter, paper and ink, in the barbershop. Marc Andre used to create every single home game a physical paper newsletter for my Perth Blue Wings hockey team. We sent emails, we sent text, we sent physical flyers, we sent postcards, we sent newsletters. We were in the relationship business. There's an interesting thing that the great Grant Cardone talks about, famous for his 10X philosophy, which I love. I like 25X, but nonetheless, is Cardone is talking about, winter coming, the next few years, we're going to separate the men from the boys, so to speak. But here's the thing, and this is really, really important, what's the first business or vendor? Who are the first people to be cut in a tough economy? Who are the first people to go in a recession? And when you think about it, Grant talks about if you have a relationship, a personal relationship, if you have a personal connection with somebody you do business with, that's the best retention vehicle you can ever have. If you have a personal relationship, with your customers and your clients, you're on a first name basis, you're mailing them, you email them, you contact them, you have a personal relationship with them, then you're in a good spot. It's the companies and businesses that don't have a personal relationship. If you're in the transaction business, if your business is transactional, in other words, you just charge a card, or you just send a renewal in the mail, or you know, it's just one and done all the time, then one and done, then one and done, then you are in big trouble. You are going to have a very difficult time staying alive in the next 3 years. Now, on the other hand, if you commit to becoming in the personality business, the last person that gets trimmed off a credit card statement is somebody they have a personal commitment with. There's things, I learned this in the insurance business, there's things that people are never going to give up. No matter how tough things are, no matter what the economy's like, people are not going to give up. They're not going to give up their vehicles. They're not going to give up driving. They're not going to give up social media. They're not going to give up alcohol. Obviously, they're not going to be giving up food. They're not going to be giving up, you know, their entertainment, as much of that. There's certain things that people will literally die for. And then, of course, people are going to have to pay for their gas. They're going to have to pay their taxes. They're going to have to pay for their food, all these non-negotiables. Then you get into the area of, hey, these are optional. And most likely your business is in the optional bracket. You know, nobody has to buy my book. Nobody has to subscribe to my newsletter. No man has to join my expensive masterminds. They don't have to do that. They do that because there's an ROI. If they spend $10,000 with me, it usually means about $300,000 for them. If they buy a $20 book, it usually means, you know, it 2X's or 5X's their life. So there's a return on investment. But all that means jack shit unless I have a personal relationship with my brothers. If I don't have a personal relationship with my clients, then I'm going to be the first guy to go, and I should be the first guy to go. You know, if I don't share my life, if I don't share, you know, what's working in my marriage, if I don't share how I'm raising my daughter, if I don't share my frustrations, if I don't share my problems with alcohol, if I don't share, you know, my dark days and my good times and my victories and my embarrassments and my defeats, I'm not going to have a personal relationship. But if I don't have a person's contact information, how the hell can I build that relationship? How can I? Those barbershops can't build it. I'm gone. I'm crickets. I'm off the grid. They can't bring me back. And I was willing to spend $150 plus tip on a haircut and a shave. And now I'm gone. I'm dust in the wind. They had no follow-up and no way to follow up. They deserve to starve. Same with these restaurants that we go and we spend $200 on a dinner every Sunday. Zero follow-up. No capture of birthday, no capture of my cell phone, no capture of my email, no capture of my mailing address. It's funny. I'm telling my mastermind guys, my world builders, my top 5%ers, and my champions, top 1%ers, I keep telling them to start capturing fax numbers. And you know, they're like, they nod their head, but they're like, yeah, I don't need to do that, right? So my advice, you know, whatever, you know, like they'll do the rest of it, but they're, you know, fax numbers. Who has fax numbers? Something like 8 million business fax numbers in just the United States alone. I'm going to update that. It might be more than that. So here's something for you to think about in terms of when you do capture information, right? So I'm a world-class email copywriter, and I include these videos. If you're on my list, you get a daily email from me every damn day. How's that for follow-up? If a person thinks about buying my book and they don't buy my book the first time, they go on my email list and they get 365 emails and videos a year. I never missed a day. How's that compare to an upscale barbershop that didn't even know my last name? How does that compare to a barbershop that had no clue how to reconnect with me and make sure that I followed up and came back in for that $150 monthly haircut and shave? How does that connect with a restaurant that's so lazy and arrogant that they think forever the good times are going to be here? 365 straight emails and videos to non-book buyers. And guess what? Most guys who didn't buy the book, I get guys after the 5th video buying the book. I get guys after the 25th video buying the book. I had a guy buy the book the other day who's watched 400 of my videos. 400 videos, he said. And he goes, Michael, I finally bought the book. That's what relentless follow-up looks like. That's what relationship building looks like. Every damn day I'm in his email box. Every damn day I'm shooting a personal video. You know, it just, and then when it comes to my other guys, my book buyers, my newsletter subscribers, and my mastermind guys, I'm raining mail on their heads constantly. I'm sending them physical newsletters. I'm faxing them articles that I found from other newsletters that I subscribe to. Last week, I faxed Doberman Dan's entire December newsletter. I faxed it to my World Builder Mastermind and Champions. I got Dan's approval, and it was one of the best newsletters I've ever read. So I asked Dan, who's a friend of mine, and he works with me, and I said, can I fax that to my brothers, my mastermind brothers? So he's like, of course you can. So I faxed that to my mastermind members. And you laugh about fax. Well, you'll laugh at your expense, because I've always captured fax numbers. Anytime a person comes near my business, we capture their name, their email, their cell number, their mailing address, their birth date, which birthdays, and then we get their fax number. So I don't know about you, but all the guys that I deal with, 95% of them have fax numbers. It's e-fax now. It's e-fax, but they have fax numbers. Like all the dentists and doctors and insurance agents and jewelers and floor company guys and restaurant owners, they all have fax. They all have fax. This idea, it's like sold to you like everybody is on social media or something, or nobody you know, email's dead and direct mail is dead and newsletters are dead. And like, who the hell is preaching that? Nobody that's won anything, nobody that's in the game playing. It's just not simply true. So really important. Good morning. Who that you're taking your marketing and promotion and advertising information from. So here's a stat in faxing you'll like. I started collecting faxes last year when I started selling my book, and we have on an email with a video, sometimes we have 30% open rates. So that means 70% of people do not open the email. And that's world class. Like, I'm top 1% when it comes to emails. So 70% never go open, never get read. Doesn't matter that I shot the video, they just sit there, right? 70% failure rate. And most days, 80% failure rate, 20% get opened. I can guarantee with most email lists, you're in the 7 to 9%. When I used to send my McLean Insurance emails, we were in the 10% range of open. So 90% failure rate, 80% failure rate. If you're the best in the world, 70% failure rate. So this is why direct mail is so important, because I get a 100% delivery rate with a first class stamp, whatever I'm sending. I get an almost 90% readership, open and readership rate, because I know how to do it. I know how to send the email. I know how to write the copy. I know how to make it look like it's personal mail, which it is. I know how to hand address everything, all this kind of stuff. So with fax, it's interesting, because I started collecting fax numbers a year and a half ago, and Mark and Leanne are like, why? And even I said to my list, I said, listen, send me your fax number. So a whole bunch of guys did. Hundreds sent their fax number, right? But a lot of guys said, I don't have a fax anymore. So Leanne told them about e-fax, where your fax comes to your email. I mean, that's what most guys do now. They don't have a fax. No, they don't have a fax machine. They have e-fax. So listen to this. Our open rate on faxes, open and read rate, okay, on emails, what I say, 20%, 30%, 80% failure. When I send a fax, even though most of my guys, it comes to their email, our open rate is plus 90%. Think about that for a second, plus 90%. I'm just like, when I send a fax, it goes to the top of the pile. When I send a fax, it goes to the top of the email list. For some reason, well, I know the reason, it's just the way things are looked at. And a lot of guys print off faxes, right? So when I sent Doberman Dan's newsletter by fax, we had a 100% open rate. E-fax, 100% open rate. So, and people printed that off because it was his newsletter, right? So I'm constantly faxing my mastermind guys with articles and ideas. They're faxing me back and forth with ideas and questions. They have to fax me their homework. And why that? It makes them write. It makes me write. When we write, it builds our memory, it builds our mental toughness, and it makes us think before we act. Like these texts you receive, you think that somebody with brain damage has sent it to you. You don't get all the misspelling. It's like the destruction of the English language. One of my early mentors, if she saw the way people communicate nowadays, she would just shudder in disbelief. The misspellings, 50 and 60 and 70-year-old people, businessmen, who sending texts like a 10-year-old little girl. It's just insane. It wouldn't be my 10-year-old little girl, but nonetheless, just crazy. So fax has a 90% open rate, and with your clients, it could be as much as 100. So my question is, are you capturing the contact information of every single person that comes in communication with your business? Does your receptionist, does your webmaster, does everybody have it set up that nobody gets in contact with you without being put into the database? Into your database goes their name, their fax, their email, their cell phone number, their physical mailing address, and anniversaries and birthdays if you choose. Man, oh man, that's equity, not income. When I sold McLean Insurance for a record multiple, it was because of the lists I had built. Here's my 60,000 emails. Here's my 16,000, cell phone numbers. Same with the barbershop. I sold the list. That's where I got the multiple that I wanted. Same with my hockey team. I was the only hockey team owner that had a massive contact list. I just said, email. I used to email my season ticket holders every Friday morning before a home game. An email from me was an autoresponder, but it was personal. And that would bump attendance by 15-20%. I would write an email and send it to my list. And then when they get to the game, what did they get? They got a physical newsletter that Marc-Andre had created. And I was in the personality business. So if you don't start collecting contact information, especially offline, then you're going to deserve to starve. You are going to deserve to starve. You're not going to make it. You're not going to make it over the next year. You're not going to make it over the next 2 years. You're not going to make it over the next 3 years. And if you're just going to try, then you're absolutely not going to make it. I'll never forget the day, it was years ago, first year that I owned McLean Insurance. I wrote the scripts out for my two receptionists at the time, and I said, here's the script you use for the next 10 years, for the next 30,000 phone calls. It's like McDonald's in that way. There's no freelancing. We read over the scripts. I said I'll be listening. I'll be taping the phone calls. We'll be listening to phone calls every week. You should have seen the look on their faces. Accountability, holy shit. And I said I'll be coaching you, and I said I'll be enforcing these phone scripts, and those phone scripts were all about capturing contact information. So from that day forward, for the next 14 years, we answered the phone and we got the person's first name with correct spelling, last name with correct spelling, We got their full mailing address. We got their cell phone, their landline. If they had a fax, we got that, and their birthdays and their anniversaries. And I was in the personality list building business. So you'll either deserve to starve in 2023, or these will be the most incredible 3 years of your business life. It'll be one way or the other. When there's a thinning of the herd, this is when the wealthy get wealthier. This is, you'll hear that story in the media, you know, like as if you get lucky, but it's not that. It's that you become lean and mean and you focus on the important. So it's not just about surviving the next 36 months, it's about prospering. Like, I'm so bullish on the next 3 years. I'm so excited that things are getting hard. I am so happy that the easy days are gone. I am so ecstatic that the tide is going out. Because admittedly, I'm tired of watching all the sloth. I'm tired of watching all the laziness around me. I'm tired of watching losers win. I'm tired of watching losers win. Losers aren't winners. Winners are winners. So when the tide goes out, like Warren Buffett said, we're already seeing that a lot of these so-called wizards and so-called rock stars and media darlings, all of a sudden, man, they have no clothes on. The tide just went out and they're naked. So I look at it all with amusement, and I'm looking forward to the law of the jungle over the next 3 years. I want the effort that I put in to be maximized. I want this to be separation season. When everybody's bitching and moaning and chewing and whining and complaining, I'm going to be kicking ass and taking names. I'm actually going to be kicking ass and capturing names, kicking ass and capturing mailing addresses, kicking ass and capturing fax numbers. I'm going to be kicking ass and capturing birthdays and anniversaries. I am going to be in the list building business over the next 3 years like never before in my entrepreneurial career. That's it. If you need help making this happen, I just told you what to do. If you need help making this happen in your business, then buy my book, nobullbook.com. That's nobullbook.com. If you want more training, subscribe to my monthly newsletter, Michael McLean World Building Newsletter. That's badassletter.com, badassletter.com. And if you finally want to step up into the big leagues and go on this journey and get my personal coaching and be in a brotherhood with other like-minded elite men, then apply to join one of my mastermind coaching programs at badassworldbuilders.com. That's badassworldbuilders.com. Are you tired? Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Are you done with living a life of quiet desperation? Are you done with that shit? Are you done with not showing up as a man, as a husband, as a father? Are you tired of pulling your punches? Are you tired of not going all in with your marketing, your money, your wealth, your business? The clock is ticking. The clock is ticking. Time is finite. Energy is finite. And I mean, if there's never been a more important time now to surround yourself with incredible men over the next 3 years. That's what a mastermind does, right? Is you surround and immerse yourself in winning. Winners aren't losers, and losers aren't winners. So if you're sick and tired of living a life of quiet desperation, I don't care about success. I want significance. What's your legacy? Are you building your legacy? That's what we do in our mastermind. We build your legacy. What are you going to be remembered for, if anything, or will your life be forgettable? Are you going to be remembered for something important? So that's it. Badassworldbuilder.com. Badassworldbuilder.com. Kick ass, capture names. Kick ass and capture names. 2 words that changed my life. 2 words that'll change your life. Rain, snow, sleet, happy, sad, China virus, sore feet, sore back, Yours Relentless doesn't give a shit about anything. My feelings have nothing to do with my discipline. You notice that today? I met 2 people today. Everybody got up and they used a little bit of warm rain as an excuse, right? They didn't feel like doing it. How I feel 365 days has nothing to do with how I operate. So I read, I copyright, and I'll walk for 365, God willing. And on 70% of those days, I get up and I don't feel like doing it. But I'm not a child. I'm not a child. My feelings and emotions, I stopped letting them rule my life when I was a teenager. My feelings have nothing to do with my winning. In fact, the fact that I get my ass up every day, I don't care if it's raining or snowing. Last year I did 366 straight videos. I had the China virus. I had, we moved countries, we moved states, we moved schools. I walked in 2 feet of snow. I walked in the heat, the bugs, the mosquitoes. I saw animals like coyotes. I mean, relentless. Either relentless or you're not relentless. But I didn't get up most mornings and I'm like, yeah, Rocky 3. None of that shit. I just get up and I trust my process. I don't compromise the process. I don't negotiate with myself. I don't get up and negotiate with Michael McLean. I know I have to do Operation Money Suck. I know I have to walk 15,000 steps, and I know I have to sharpen the axe. I know I have to drink water. I know I have to pray. I know I have to conquer the chaos of the afternoon. So it's interesting. I don't negotiate with myself. I didn't negotiate. I walked out here, liquid sunshine. I just get the first 10 steps in and I'm gone. Just one more day. I told myself that this morning. It's not fun walking in the rain all the time, but I'm like, just one more day. And I love doing hard things. I feel a lot better standing here right now because of the fact that this was a little bit difficult. It wasn't difficult, but it makes me feel good. It's a little victory and a half on the calendar, the red Seinfeld calendar, because nobody else did this. It doesn't take much to stop anybody. Even the people that are dedicated walkers, they're not out here yet. Do it later. So just something to see. Are your feelings controlling your life, or do you just want I just want the red X. I get a red X on the calendar every day when I walk, I read, and I write. So that's what I want. That's what I feel. I want to go 29-0, 30-0, 30. I want to go 120-0. I want to go 365-0. That's what I care. I don't give a shit how my back feels or my ankles feel or I don't give in to any of that. Most of the time I don't feel like doing it, but my feelings don't rule. That's mental toughness. Excuse me. And that's allergies. That's it. Kick ass and capture names. 2 words that changed my life, 2 words that'll change yours. Be relentless.